Hi, my name is Patricia Nelson. I'm here tonight to talk to you about my research proposal. The name of my proposal is Does Age, Race, Gender, and Religion Play a Role in Homosexuality Bias Among Social Workers? The background that led to this research is that homosexuality continues to be a controversial issue. And in the 20th century, only heterosexual orientation was accepted. Heterosexuals were homophobic, and they believed that homosexuality was a dirty, sinful thing. They believed that people should be punished for their dirty, sinful acts, and there were no laws to protect the rights of homosexuals. Now, times have changed since coming into the new millennium. However, people's perception and their attitudes about homosexuals have not. There are a lot of research that talk about homosexuals, the LGBT population, and the discrimination against them. I became interested in this topic because, as a social worker, the NASW mandates that we should maintain a certain code in working with all people. However, there are social workers who stand firm on their religious belief about and about their sexual orientation. Therefore, we shows that many social workers are not accepting of this population and therefore have prejudice towards them. The significance of my research is to obtain knowledge about how age, gender, race, and religion can impact bias among social workers in working with the homosexual population. This research will focus on explaining why these demographics are related to the bias of social workers. This research will also provide an insight on how social workers may demonstrate a false appearance of cultural competence when working with the culture, and if they possess personal prejudice about their lifestyle based off of their beliefs. There has already been numerous of experiment research that support that demographics have an impact on the social worker prejudice and negative attitudes toward the LGBT population. However, there is not much updated research as to why these things exist. There's also limited research about if and how these biases are reflected in the social workers' LGBT client relationship. Okay, the literature that I reviewed for the proposal is that I reviewed several research studies that talked about the LGBT population. However, I reviewed 4 research studies that I felt pertain to my research proposal that provided me with the direction I wanted to go in my own research. My literature review number 1 is social workers, students' attitude toward lesbian, gay, bisexual, and the transgender youth. This research study investigates the attitude of aspiring social work students toward working with the LGBT population. Factors that could affect their personal negative or positive attitude about this population, and also culture, humility, and social work preparedness, general attitudes of the social work student were analyzed in relationship to providing service to the LGBT foster youth. Researchers hypothesized that demographics such as age, gender, sexual identification, religiosity, race, ethics, and political affiliation can play a vital role in the openness and preparedness of an aspiring social worker who intended on working with the LGBT foster youth. The findings were that social work participants who were LGBT themselves reported a high level of respect and acceptance of the population than the heterosexual colleagues. High level of strong religious belief and conservative political views contribute to low rates of the LGBT acceptance. The younger the students, the more positive the attitudes were about the LGBT population. The older the participants, the more negative the attitudes were about this population. In my review number 2, the relationship of the practice beliefs and practice behavior among social workers with lesbian and gay clients. This research explored the practice beliefs and behaviors among social worker practitioners with lesbian and gay clients. The purpose of this study was to see if there was a direct correlation and variables between the social work practice beliefs and how they interacted with the lesbian and gay clients. This research study was very relevant to my research proposal because it investigated the relationship between beliefs and practice. The findings were that significant relationships between the beliefs about practice and practice behavior with the lesbian and gay clients. Also discovered that the social workers with high level of social contacts with homosexual had a more positive attitude toward the population. In my literature review number 3, the live experience of people who identified as the LGBT Christian, consideration for the social workers in their helping. This research explored the experience of the LGBT Christians to find out if social workers embrace LGBT clients without discrimination as it relates to their commitment to maintain cultural competency as it related to the NASW, which is the National Association of Social Workers, their code of ethics. The research participants had experienced a lack of respect toward their sexual orientation by the social worker language when talking to them. Also, it was reported that the participants that during their counseling session, social workers began addressing their sexual orientation rather than their depression or other life disruptions that brought them in. Participants also reported that Christian social worker biases were obvious during the session, and they felt judged after they referred to scriptures that rebukes the same-sex attraction. Other participants stated they would rather see a non-religious counselor to feel more accepted or non-judged. In my 4th literature review, this was about the attitudes towards bisexual men and women among the nationally representative probability sample of adults in the United States. The purpose of this research was to provide an assessment of attitudes towards bisexual men and women by collecting data from heterosexual, gay, lesbian, and other identified adults across the United States. I mainly focused on the demographic differences and to see if they had any impact on the attitude toward bisexuals. The researchers for this article discovered that there was very little research about bisexuality. The findings, however, indicated that overall negative attitude toward bisexual men than the bisexual women. Women was more accepted by everybody than the men. The factors that influenced this attitude was age, the gender, race, income, and sexual identification. So, as you can see, all of my literature reviews were directly related to my research, but with a different perspective. The purpose of this research is to determine if there's a correlation between age, gender, race, and religion of social workers and their biases. This research will seek to gain an understanding as to why demographics such as age, gender, race, and religion is connected to negative attitudes and the biases of social workers about the LGBT population. I proposed the research questions, and some of my questions were, can a social worker bias be detected when working with a homosexual client? And are some social worker prejudices about homosexuality relate to the lack of knowledge and exposure or religious beliefs? If it was about religious beliefs and their values, then how effective is the relationship of a homosexual client and the social worker? Does social workers with a negative attitude and bias about the LGBT population maintain the NASW Code of Ethics when they're providing effective services or trying to provide effective services with someone who is homosexual? My research design was, I used the mixed method research design where I conducted both the quantitative and qualitative research design. I used mixed methods because I want to capture data from the social workers by using a questionnaire, which is quantitative correlation. I wanted to capture the ideas, opinion, and experiences of the homosexual participant, so I used a qualitative study design. and I facilitated semi-structural discussion. The sample of the quantitative sample, I used 28 social workers, or 28 social workers will be used and obtained from random social service agency in Holmes, Warren, Humphrey, and Yazoo County. This sample will be proposed of a random social workers who volunteered to participate in the study after reading a flyer about the study. I will distribute consent letters about the research study purpose and the process. I plan to email and hand deliver these questionnaires. The qualitative sample will consist of 10 participants who are homosexual, and they will be obtained through social media such as Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. The participants will volunteer to participate in the study after seeing a flyer about the study that was posted in the homosexual LGBT groups. The participant will be obtained by responding to the flyer and agree to participate in an interview or focus group to discuss their experience of working with the social workers. The data collection plan, the quantitative data will be collected from participants who mail in the questionnaires. The qualitative data will be collected from the focus group, and this will be recorded. The development of the questionnaire will be developed through the Bogardian social distance scale to measure the degree of closeness or hostility between the two groups of people. The Thurston scale will be used to measure the attitude toward other people. The focus group will use open-ended questions to facilitate the discussion about the participants' experience in working with social workers. So, as you see, my proposal is: does age, race, gender, and sexual and religion play a role in homosexual violence among social workers? Thank you.